Welcome back to I'm Every Woman TV. I'm here with my guest, Tina Gaisin, who is joining us. She's from Fill the Room, Spread Your Word. So Tina, it's so great to have you here with us. And my first question is, why did you get into the event planning business?
Thanks, Janette. That's a great question. The reason I got into Fill the Room was I'm a life coach, and I was helping others to be a life coach and helping them through their life and their journey. And 3 of us came and sat at a table, and they said, Tina, you're not doing the right thing. You have to do Fill the Room. All of us came up with a name at the same time. It was so powerful, and my life has always been about helping others to fill their room, so it just made sense.
And you chose to focus primarily on filling rooms for workshop leaders, speakers, as I know that you have your DTM. For people who don't know what DTM is, that's the highest level of a Toastmaster designation one can obtain. I only have the lesser one, but anyway, explain how, is the company geared towards mainly work functions or business people, coaches, consultants who are trying to fill the room, or is it beyond that?
Oh, it's definitely beyond that. I can do fundraisers, but it's about helping others. So if you have a passion or something that you really want to get the word out about, I'm here to help you fill the room with your target market.
So that could be guests, it could be attendees. So there is a multiple need for this type of thing.
Absolutely.
And it seems maybe a bit odd to talk about Christmas, but in fact it's just around the corner, and I'm sure it's time for corporations to start thinking about their corporate functions.
For sure. So having Christmas parties or any other kind of large gatherings, if a lot of companies want to give back and they want to host a fundraiser or some sort of large event, I can help them with getting their clients in, helping them build their bottom line, and helping them create more excitement about their business or something that they're passionate about.
So Tina, there's a lot to consider when you think about planning an event. It's not just the management.
Nope.
It's the theme decor, the design, the functionality, the venue, and there's a lot of consideration. So I would like you to talk to me a little bit about some of the things that you have seen maybe go wrong or go right in an event that would explain why it's always better to work with a professional like you than to sort of take this on by yourself.
Great question. So in terms of when people want to promote themselves, a lot of times they don't even know how to promote themselves. They don't know how to write press releases. They don't know how to deal with the media. They don't even know how to help get more people in. They may go to the old time, like picking up the phone and cold calling. So in terms of like a realtor, you don't want to do that. You want to get a room and you want to give some value to what you're trying to get across. So by me helping them to fill the room with their target market, and I say target market because they want to have a specific niche that they're getting in and somebody that wants to see what they have of a value. So what a lot of times we do is we do educational marketing workshops, and we will help them have free seminars or larger seminars to get more people excited about their business idea or some of the things that they're passionate about. For example, authors. Authors want to have a book launch. How do they get the launch across? May not be great at what they're doing. That's one of the things we can help to do too.
So I'm going to get very specific with you. This is a specific question I wrote, and I'm going to read it because I want you to answer it, and I don't want to miss anything. So I was looking at some of the barriers that all people, not just workshop leaders, could have when it comes to creating an event. And some of the things I came up with that may hinder the event and not make it as, let's say, awesome as it should be, or not help them spread the word as well, are things like time, money, imagination, creativity, ideas, not really knowing their goals, not having a set budget or theme, not having proper organizational skills or the contacts that you sometimes need to be able to get better deals, negotiate on theme decor, venue, food, this type of thing. Not having realistic expectations. And these are all very valid points. Now my question to you is, how do you help people overcome these type of issues?
Well, I think the biggest thing is there's two things. It's time and money. Time and money for everyone. They don't have the time to do it. They rather spend the time doing things that they're strong at. Their strengths are what they work the best at. And then the money, they may not have the budget, or they don't know they have the budget for it, and then they're using their budget for things that may not work for them. So it's almost like they're wasting their time and they're wasting their money. So what we do is we help them, and I have a team of people that I collaborate with that help them with their time, and we work on a budget. So we start the budget first. We have the concept, so we're almost working backwards sometimes. What's the date that you want? What's your timeline? How many people do you want? What's your visioning? The visioning is key to anything. And a lot of times they don't know they have a vision, or what the vision is, so we help them create that awesome event, and so that they have a magical and rememberable event, which is the best part. But the part of what we do also is we just do it from the concept, and we're there for the management. So we're there every step of the way helping them.
So it's about them focusing on what they do best.
Absolutely.
And not getting too involved in event planning details that could detract away them from their daily activities that actually are income generating activities.
For sure.
And allowing you to step in, and you and your team to take it over, so that they don't have to worry about these things, which could be very stressful for some people.
Absolutely. The other part of that is a lot of times people don't know they have a customer list that they're not tapping into. So they may have been in business 15, 20 years, and they're not even using their database to help accelerate their business, and they're not using the testimonials or the great comments from their previous clients. So we can also help them regenerate their old list and create a new one too.
Okay, so we're into almost like Christmas season, corporate Christmas season, and a lot of corporations have stopped producing holiday parties and or making the employees pay a fair chunk to attend. What's your take on that? Do you think that it's going to be a trend that's going to come to a halt, or do you think that there's going to be sort of new ways to conduct holiday functions on a lower scale?
Well, I believe that a lot of times that corporations, and I came from the corporate world, that in order to give back to their employees and keep them for a long period of time, they need to incorporate that team effort, so together everyone achieving more. And in terms of having events that help that, I think that they're going to go back to it. I think that a lot of the employees want that getting together with their spouses and with the company, because you spend more time at work than you do with your family. That's something that you need to incorporate into your life. And in terms of having an event like that, it makes a lot of team building skills, and it helps the employees achieve a lot more at work.
Yeah, it builds the morale.
Absolutely.
But I think it's also important to know that there's different ways of doing a party.
For
right?
sure.
It doesn't have to be a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 affair.
Absolutely.
And that's true whether it's a corporate party or a wedding or even a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah. So maybe you could just give us some tips on how we could do a smaller scale yet very nice, intimate party that would, convey the same sort of cozy feeling and the thank you, the appreciation part.
Excellent. So a lot of venues, you don't have to have their caterers. Sometimes you can have outside caterers who are willing to work for a lot less. And the other thing is, sometimes in the old days, everybody had to always sit down for a meal where you were served, and that's very costly because you have to have a lot of waiters. So in terms of having a buffet style, to having an outside the box, having a really cool venue that maybe is not in your traditional type. There's a lot of different venues out there, and you can have a small event that's very comfortable and very beautiful, and you can have a large event. It really depends on what your budget is, again, and going back to your time. But there's lots of ways of cutting corners in terms of the cost, of how much your event's going to cost, and making it a beautiful yet elegant event too, and very memorable.
So what about bringing it back in the home? I mean, today Toronto is filled with big houses that can accommodate a lot of people. And at the turn of the century, it wasn't about putting a party in a venue, it was about having it in these beautiful homes. Is there going to be a trend back to that?
Well, a lot of businesses have business receptions in their house. You can have the wine, you can have the cheese, you can decorate it so beautifully, candles. It's like it's an oasis as opposed to you're just home. but it's definitely a great way to invite guests over, and it's in a non-threatening way. We do a lot of events like that. So a lot of home parties and a lot of home events absolutely is the best way to do it. And then also, wintertime not so much because you have to worry about the weather, but backyard parties too.
All right, so I'm gonna talk to you a little bit more specifically again, with your permission. So we know that you do variety of events, really, literally everything from corporate events, to speaking, getting speakers, people in the room for their workshops, to I guess Christmas parties, holiday parties, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs. You also do fundraisers.
Absolutely.
And that's a very kind of special thing for you, right? But there's a reason why you like to do that. Can you share that?
So in terms of what I've always done is I've always wanted to give back, and in terms of fundraisers, there's a lot of things that are really passionate to me. I'm a 4-time cancer survivor, and that's part of my story, and I like to talk about it because I'm here to help others. But I love to give back in terms of my community, anything I've always done. I'm also with Swim Ontario, Swim Canada, United Way, Habad. There's lots of organizations and a lot of theater events also, fundraisers. So there's a lot of opportunity and festivals that, just to help you get the word out about that and help them be more successful so they stay in business too.
Right, and people don't realize that, charities are a business.
Absolutely.
Like any other business. They have to survive on donations. So
Toastmasters is a large one for that too, by the way.
yes, it is. In fact, it's funny you should mention that. When I was in Toastmasters, I actually did a big event for them for their holiday party with 2-3 chapters, and managed to get a hotel and did a whole, like I shared this with you. I love the creativity, I love the theme, and I did everything for $20.
Wow.
And they had entertainment, 5 acts. They had everything, but we're not here to talk about me. I'm just saying that I understand what you go through.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important that our audience understands the different types of services you provide. So could you just give us a rendition? I know there is event management, and you can carry on and tell us.
So in terms of the different events, it's all about the event. It's about the concept. So if you just want to have an idea of what an event is and then you want to run with it, I can do that for you too. I can also help you with the management. So if you have a venue, you've already started the process and you're just running out of time, running out of money, and running out of patience, so we can come in and help you. We can also come in with the design of like the sets and the backgrounds and the backdrops and how the tables look, so all the decorations. So we can transform it from just a blah type of event to a really gorgeous event.
So from blah to awe.
That's amazing. I'll use that.
Okay, you can have that one. So we're almost at the end of this segment, and I wanted to just get a few things more in, if you could. I'm looking for some case studies and examples, and I think that this is really interesting, and I think that our audience would be very interested in learning a little bit more about an event, let's say, that went terrific and something that went horrifically wrong. So can you give me an example of both?
Sure. So my first very large event was for Shadowpath Theatre Productions. They created the Hotel Solstice, which is a yearly fundraising event, and it was an awesome event. We had a lot of volunteers, we had a lot of people. We transformed the hotel loft, and it became the Hotel Solstice. And they were using all the senses. It was just beautiful. And part of it was, though, they had some issues at the hotel, but they changed it, nobody knew, and it was a beautiful event. But in terms of how we can fill room, sometimes it's the day of the week. Sometimes there's a bad weather. For example, we had a bad storm, that really bad storm on July 8th, and we had an event that only 10 people showed up for. We had a good event. But it was a small event because the weather got in the way. People were being stranded,
So in what could otherwise be an absolute disaster, you know how to step in and make it work, is
Absolutely.
What you're saying.
And you know what? In terms of when the event's happening, people don't know what they don't know. So we're just going to make it a great time. The attitude is very important in what we do and how we go about doing it. If we came in sad and doom and gloom, then it's not going to be as much fun.
And I think that you just hit on a really good point, which is, when you're an event organizer or a hostess, we tend to think that, yeah, the guests are going to know everything. They're going to recognize that this isn't right or that isn't right. But the fact is, they don't know what they don't know, right? They don't know what you have planned. So even if the entertainment, one act or something didn't show up, unless it was, really billeted and promoted, they're not going to know. They're not going to know the difference. It's just like when you give a speech, nobody knows what's happening next in your speech. But I would also say that, to me, a great event that goes off like clockwork is almost like a great ballet or performance. It looks flawless. You don't see the work that went into it, and everybody just has a good time. What do you think about that?
Oh, I totally agree. And you know what? Part of it is it's how you react to things. So you're not going to have somebody coming in drunk. You're not going to have your staff or your colleagues doing these things. So you need to show, like an actress, that everything is great and that everybody's having a good time, and you can change an issue into a wonderful moment. So that's really, really key to everything.
It is. I remember years ago, they even had a movie about this, where they had a fundraiser scheduled at the Walden in New York, the Waldorf Astoria, is that correct? Waldorf Astoria, yes. And they were coming by horse and buggy, and it was a snowstorm, right? And it almost didn't pull off the charity ball, but in the end,
blankets. They had blankets,
yes, and they made it work. So anything is doable.
Absolutely.
So,
and if you don't have a budget, I can still work with your budget. So we can find ways to help you. And startups, that's a great fun way to do it too. So,
what about bartering? Does that ever come into play?
Yes, it does. So bartering it's a fine line. You have to be very careful because you want to make sure you get services. But in terms, it's more like a collaboration as opposed to bartering. I used to do bartering in the past in another business, but it's more like helping each other with services and collaborating with things that are making sense.
Is there anything you won't do?
That hasn't come up yet. But I don't know that answer right now. I think maybe the answer is yes, but I don't know that answer.
Right, because I mean, certain like event planners, if it's okay if I call you an event planner or event
I'm an event promoter.
Event promoter, do have some, take off of their list that they will not do. So something to consider perhaps, that's why I asked it. Okay, well, since you brought that up, what is the difference really between an event promoter and an event planner when you're offering the full scale of service?
So event promoter overlaps event planner. What we also do is, so we're creating your event, absolutely. We're planning it, we're doing all that stuff, but we also help you with the media. We help you get the word out. So we're doing press releases. We're doing that advertising part of it also. So that's where the promotion and the planner sort of overlap, and that's what makes us a little bit different. So we're using social media. We're also helping you get more people in the room.
All right, so there's a marketing component. We have to wrap up. Is there anything that you want to
Well,
add?
I have a gift for you from one of my speakers. His name is Gregory C.N. Smith. He's a Toastmaster. He wanted to give this to you.
Well, thank you very much.
And I have two events that are coming that I want to promote.
Yes, what's coming up?
So I have the energy healing one that's on the science, spirituality, empowering the self, which is October 25th to 27th. And that's in downtown Toronto. You also get credit for it. You also get credit for it with a naturopathic coach. And I also have the Joy of Aging, which is another great event.
Wow.
That's going to be in Richmond Hill. If anybody who wants to be a sponsor or come to it, please contact me.
Okay, now before we close, Tina, you have a great giveaway today for our viewers who are watching. It is 2 hours complimentary service valued at $300. And in that, you can select from event theme design, event planning, event organization, event promotion, or event management, and so much more. So the first person to email me right now at Janette, Janette, at yourmarketingmagnet.com is going to claim Tina's prize. Again, it's 2 hours complimentary service valued at $300. You can use it for event theme design, event planning, event organization, event promotion, event management, and so much more. I also want to refer to your website, which is www.filltheroom.ca. Again, www.filltheroom.ca. And Tina, how can we get in touch with you?
You can call me at 416-509-2600. I'm on Facebook, Fill the Room. And anyone who likes me today will actually have an extra gift on my website. On
your
Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn.
Right, so you're all social media.
I'm connected.
All right, okay, well, we would hope that from Yvette Perrotta. Well, it's been a pleasure having you with us today, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Natasha Mitchell, 5 New Friends. If you're 40 or more, you'll want to stay with us and find out how you can have that time of your life.
Thank you.